Welcome back to Snetterton, everybody, for our final Clubman Sports prototype race of the weekend. We are still, basked in relative sunshine, a few more clouds just descending above us, but for the final time today, the Clubman Sports prototype championship cars are heading off onto their formation lap, and we can guide you through the way that they will line up for this third and final race here before they head off to Alton Park for a double-header weekend of racing over the single-day event there on the 13th of August. We've already seen 2 race wins for the man that will start from pole position, Steve Dickens, who prior to this weekend had a really difficult start to the season, bearing in mind he was the champion last year, and the car pretty much ran faultlessly until the very final race and the very final lap of that final race. But it's been a difficult 2022 championship season. Let's guide you through the grid then and the way that they line up. Steve Dickens is on pole position with Alex Champion alongside, and it's Cody Tree, one to watch out for, alongside Jared Lester on row number 2. The third row of the grid is Adrian Lester and 47, which is Peter Richings, followed by Alan Cook and Ian Crombie that lines up on row number 4. Onto the 5th row of the grid, Michelle Hayward and Mathieu Gauthier-Thornton have been involved in some good battles in their class so far this weekend. And also watch out for Maurice Hart and Tom Bellamy, who line up behind them on row number 6. Row number 7, and on the inside of that 7th row of the grid, it's another one of the females that we've got in the field, which is Samantha Evans, sits alongside Paul Freeman. And then row number 8, Martin Walker, who was a class winner yesterday, lines up alongside the class winner from earlier on today in CSPB, which is Tom Muirhead. Then it's Brendan Hurd and Barry Webb on the next row of the grid, and the final row of the grid sees Roger Watton line up alongside Mike Upton. That is the way that they should line up for this third and final Clubman Sports Prototype Championship race that we've got coming up for you now. So 3 races at Donington Park, 3 races at Silverstone, 3 races at Brands Hatch, now 3 races here coming up at Snetterton, and the wins have been spread around really. While Steve Dickens has taken 2 wins so far this weekend, we've seen wins for Clive Wood, who's not out this weekend. These are the overall wins. Cody Tree's taken 4 wins so far, but he had to come from the back of the grid to finish earlier on today in what was 4th position, but the fastest lap time was 3rd quickest, so that's why he lines up 3rd on the grid. We've also seen a couple of wins for Alex Champion. And all of those drivers, with the sole exception of Clive Wood, are all on the front 3 positions on the grid. So Steve Dickens, Alex Champion, Cody Tree. If you look at the form guide for 2022, you would suggest that the win would come from one of those, but Jared Lester is certainly not slow. His father Adrian Lester is not slow either, so we'll have to wait and see. And we'll also keep an eye on what's going on in the other classes as well, not least of which class CSP2, for which that man there, Maurice Hart, is involved, and also class CSPB, where we're likely to see Tom Muirhead, I suspect, fighting away with Martin Walker, and maybe Barry Webb might be able to squeeze a little bit more out of his car than he's been able to do pace-wise in the first couple of races so far this weekend. So this is going to be a final 15-minute race for them. And then, as we say, it's Alton Park. They are on to Brands Hatch for 3 races in the middle part of September. They do come back to Snetterton here in the early part of October, 9th and 10th of October, for a further 3 races for rounds 18, 19, 20 of the championship. And then it's over to Donington Park again, where they return on the 29th of October. 22 races over the course of the season, and every single round counts. No drop scores, so you've got to be consistent in the championship season, which sadly the man on pole position hasn't, Steve Dickens, with his troubled start to the year. So I suspect his ability to go back-to-back championships is already out of the window. He will know that, but we'll have to wait and see as to how the remainder of the season works for him, and also how it works for everybody else, because there's plenty of racing still to come up in the Clubman Sports Prototype Championship for this year. So it's silver and blue for Steve Dickens on pole position. Number 21, Alex Champion, is the light blue car to the right of your screens. Cody Tree sits alongside on row number 2 in the red car, alongside the green and black car with its day-glow flashes, which is Jared Lester. 5-second board held aloft, and as the lights go out very quickly indeed, that caught several cars out there. Lights went out very quickly, and numerous cars have stalled, not least of which Alex Champion, who gets things going, but Steve Dickens is off and away. Cody Tree 2nd, and it is Michelle Hayward that's up into 3rd position. Mike Evans has made the dash from the assembly area just to see the start of the race. The lights went out very, very quickly there.
Yeah, indeed, and obviously there was a waved yellow flag, which I think obviously Alex Champion had stalled on the grid, so I think that's confused some drivers as to whether they should go or not. But obviously Alex is going there, just gone through the shot.
Yeah, so hopefully they're now all aware that the race is underway, and it certainly looks as though the pace that they're carrying round through the left-hander at Palmer suggests that that is the case, but for some, they certainly will want to make sure that they make hay while the sun shines, because Michelle Haywood, what a fantastic start from her. Forget the fact that the red lights went out quickly. She was ready for it. She's off and away.
I know.
She's in third place.
This is it. She normally makes a terrible start. On this occasion, a lightning start.
From 9th to 3rd. Yeah, that's not bad at all, is it? But she's coming under pressure, and she'll be coming under pressure from Jared Lester, who has got, is that Ian Crombie behind, is it? It's not Matthew Gauthier-Thornton, is it?
I think it may well. So that's, yeah, so there's that Jared, and then that's Matthew, yes.
So he's made another good start as well then. So he's up to 5th from 10th position on the grid. So it shuffled the order, to say the least. And it is that man out front, Steve Dickens, who at the moment is looking reasonably comfortable. Michelle Haywood loses 3rd place as Jared Lester sneaks his way through. So Jared Lester gaining the place. The CSP2 car of Michelle Haywood dropping down a position. She still leads the class, doesn't she?
Yes.
She might have lost a position, still leads the class, won't affect the championship points scoring.
No, indeed, and this is it. You would expect the Class 1 cars to be able to sort of get past her on the straights and everything like that. She's 70 brake horsepower down on the Class 1 cars.
Yeah, so is it 200 brake horsepower as a maximum in the Class 1 cars, whereas for the CSP2s it's
around 130.
130 because they're running the Rover K-Series engine, yeah. So Alex Champion, he'll be the one to watch now, won't he? Because he stalled on the grid. Thankfully, everybody was aware and weaved their way round him. He wasn't the only one to stall on the grid. Be interesting to see where he can come through, because he was 2nd when the lights came out, and as he comes over the start-finish line at the end of the lap, he's in 6th position. Yeah,
but obviously he's had 2 troublesome races. He's led both races, but then non-finished the first race with a fuel problem, and then had a gearbox problem in the second race.
Is that what it was?
Yes,
oh,
yeah.
Crumbs. Okay. And no other tales of woe with regards to anybody after race number 2 of the weekend?
We had 20 cars to start the second race, 20 finished, so that's good news. So everybody's out there. So no, it's just Alex was the one that had problems, really.
And as for CSPB, this is one of the cars that has already claimed a win in the class so far this weekend. The number 25 car in the hands of Martin Walker. He is 2nd in the class at the moment. That's Paul Freeman that's got ahead of him, so that's not for class position. But that green car, the green Malik, is 2nd in the class at the moment. In the early stages, CSPB is being led by the number 58 car, which is Tom Muirhead, who is a little bit further up the road.
Yeah, it looks like Tom's got ahead there, and obviously Paul's in between them, although he's not actually racing them technically. But Tom's got a good gap there back to Martin, so Martin wants to try and close that.
But they both had issues in their relative races. It was a retirement in race number 1 of the weekend for Tom Muirhead whilst leading it, and it was a spin, wasn't it, earlier on today for Martin Walker?
That's right, at the end of the back straight. He was actually following Paul Freeman, and Paul goes very deep into that corner before turning left foot, and then the right-hander, and Paul went that deep, Martin followed him and overshot the corner.
Found the limit of himself and car, or combination thereof. Yeah. So here is the Class CSP2 leader, Michelle Haywood, still leading the way, and still leading it reasonably comfortably, because again she's got another Class 1 car between her and Matteo Gauthier-Thornton, and that Class 1 car is Adrian Lester, is it not? So Adrian Lester in the number 66 car.
Yes, and you would expect Adrian to get by them and go away quite quickly, as I say. He's 70 brake horsepower up, so up on the straight now he should leave Matt.
Adrian Lester, who's raced Clubmans cars for a good period of time, did step away from Clubmans recently. GT Cup are on the championship programme for this weekend. Did a couple of seasons there racing a Lotus, but then came back to Clubmans again.
Yes.
So Alex Champion hounding Jared Lester. This will be for a podium spot now, so another 2 places gained by Champion last time through. He's not going to do anything here around the outside at Wilson. Might try and cut back on the exit, but that still only gives him the outside line when he gets to Palmer.
Yes, which is not the place to be, so this will be interesting. Are you really, because you can hold the left-hander here, or he's gone around the outside of him, and he's done well there, so as long as there's not too many marbles, he's got past.
Yeah, good driving that from Alex Champion, and confident in the car, confident in the aero, confident on the tyres, but he is not, I think, going to pull away overly quickly from Jared Lester, who is carrying a bit of damage to the front of that car by the look of things.
I didn't spot that, but yeah, maybe we'll have a look when we get another shot of him.
Alex Champion, fastest lap of the race, and that is, I'm afraid, Alan Cook, isn't it?
Yes, that's right, in the Mark 31 pulled off for some reason, so that's a pity.
That is a really unusual colour, that car. I don't know how to describe the colour of that car. You can't quite see it on the cameras to the same degree as you can with the naked eye. Is it grey? Is it green? Is it?
Yes, it's one of these strange
colours. It's a strange one.
Different lights, it shows up as different colours.
Yeah, so. It really does. Here's Cody Tree. Now, Cody Tree is running 2nd in the race overall. Steve Dickens leads the way in the silver and blue number 7 car. You just see it heading through shot there. There is Cody Tree in 2nd place in the Phantom. Now, what can Alex Champkin do in the newer Phantom, the brand new car for this season? Relative gap between the pair of them last time they came over the start-finish line would have been around 5 seconds, but Alex Champkin is going to be charging. He'll want to finally get that result that he has probably deserved all weekend, which will be a win.
Yes, indeed. But he's got fastest lap, I think, so far, but he's still got, 7 seconds to make up, so I'll be surprised with that. So Cody seems, talking to him in the paddock, he seems to have a slight engine problem, so the engine's a little bit down on power, but he'll try his hardest. But it'll be interesting to see if Alex can actually close the gap.
Let's have a look. The gap is down to 6.6 seconds between Cody Tree at second place and Alex Champkin there in third. So Alex Champkin will be pushing hard. Who's leading Class CSP2? It's still Michelle Haywood. She was overtaken by Adrian Lester on that lap, but still hangs on to the leader race and still has another Class 1 car between her now, because whilst she was overtaken by Adrian Lester, Mathieu Gauthier-Thornton was overtaken by Peter Riching, so there's still a Class 1 car between the two of them.
Yeah, no, she'll be quite happy about that. And unfortunately, it has spread out that class battle as well, because you've got Tom Bellamy in third in class, and then Maurice Hart several cars back, although he's fourth in class. Whereas in the second race they had a really good battle, the three of them had a good battle over second place.
So here comes Cody Tree round through Hamilton up towards Oggies. Steve Dickens 2 seconds to the good over the car that sits there in second place. If you consider the fact that Cody Tree didn't race at Donington Park because he was busy with other things, consider the fact that he retired at Brands Hatch in the final race of the weekend there, and the fact that he didn't race yesterday, he's leading the championship coming into this weekend and probably won't be that far off the lead of the championship, if not still leading Class CSP1 at the end of this weekend.
No, indeed, that's it. Everybody, obviously Steve Dickens has had his problems, Alex Champkin's had the problems as well. I mean, Jared Lester and Adrian Lester, they've been quite consistent but not quite up there with the front running, so they're picking up good points.
Which say, considering he's literally got 3 non-scores as good as, and all rounds count as well. You need a consistent season, don't you?
Yes, yeah. And there's no drop scores in this year or the last couple of years championship. So here we've got Tom Muirhead leading CSPB. So obviously Tom he's got Paul Freeman between him and Martin Walker, who's his main rival at the moment.
Yeah, so in the cars in Class 2 and in the cars in Class B, they've got another class car between themselves and the car that's second in the class, so they can sort of, just afford to bide their time a little bit. There goes Paul Freeman at the wheel of the Ardmore. Can he close in on the Class CSPB leading car of Tom Muirhead? I was about to call him John there. That's his father, isn't it?
Father,
of course, that's Dad.
Yes.
Down the straight, the Ardmore is closing. Paul Freeman jinks out from behind. Should be able to pick off the car and goes through. Does he?
Yes,
Tom Muirhead didn't make it easy, but lets him go.
Yeah, so now we've got Tom Muirhead in 58 and Martin Walker in the green car on his tail, and then Samantha Evans there just behind them in the white and green car. So she'll be trying to get up with Paul Freeman for CSP2 battle. Yeah,
the CSP2 cars running the Rover K Series engine. Those cars that run in Class CSPB are running, in reality, a Ford Crossflow standard Formula Ford engine. So through goes out of Murray's Paul Freeman. Tom Muirhead having lost position, still leading the class. And there is Alex Champkin. Is he closing ever more? Well, another new fastest lap of the race for Alex Champkin last time through. 1 minute 55.175 from the light blue Phantom PR21. Now, that was around about 1.1 seconds quicker than Cody Tree could muster last time through, and Cody set his best individual lap of the race so far. So Alex Champkin is on his way. He's got time to do it. 5 minutes.
Well, I think he could do another 5 minutes.
Catching's a possibility. Overtaking, I think, is a distant possibility.
Yeah, but there's Steve Chiarini on his way there. But obviously, Cody's not that far behind him, 2 seconds. So keeping him honest.
All of the problems that our race leader Steve Dickens has had so far this season, were they all exactly the same issue or interrelated in some way, shape or form?
No, they had an engine problem. We put a new engine at the beginning of the season, and the oil pump gave problems the first 2 rounds at Donington and Silverstone, and then he was going okay at Browns, but then had a hub bearing failure.
So it's a combination of different issues that have fallen foul of him, but after a troubled season, a solid weekend and 3 wins would be a very welcome return for his efforts.
Indeed. No, it would be just reward for all the hard work he's put in and always does. And obviously he does some other people's engines as well, so he's a hard-working lad.
And it's fair to say, amongst the competitors that we've got, none of them are running with teams. They're all pretty much on their own, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it's family, friends, helpers, whoever they can rope in, which on occasions is your fellow competitors, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. If anybody's got a problem there, everybody soon mucks in and helps everybody else out and that, which is one of the great attributes of Clubmans racing. Now, the paddock is very, very friendly, but then once they're out on the track, it's still hard racing.
The way motor racing used to be. And
no, Cody's got a problem.
Oh, he
so
has.
He's pulling over the red car there, number 27, is it?
Well, he
so
looked,
71.
He
so,
looked to have a problem, and now he's reset it again. So Alt Control Delete, maybe?
Yeah, or maybe I think he may have gearbox.
Yeah, slowing up again as he comes out of the corner. Yeah, the car doesn't want to engage a gear. So poor old Cody Tree. That's going to be a non-start because he was busy yesterday. And then from the back of the grid, finished 4th earlier on. And it looks as though it's going to be a non-finish for him now here. And that allows Alex Champkin to pick up 2nd place. It will put Jared Lester up into 3rd now, won't it?
Again, yeah, so another 3rd for Jared. Jared's done quite well, so
it's... so there is Cody Tree off on the grass on the exit of Agostini. So localised yellows there. No overtaking on the run out of Agostini. On the run in towards Hamilton there'll be. Now for Steve Dickens, what we now need to do is keep an eye on the light blue car of Alex Champkin, who last time through set a 1:54.193. Now that was 2 seconds faster than Steve Dickens, and Steve Dickens put in his best lap of the race so far. Do you think Steve Dickens was probably driving as fast as he needed to?
Yes.
And now he's going to use that extra reserve that he's got?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's paced it throughout the weekend on the laps. The first half of the race being quite steady with it and get the tyres really working hard. So here's our CSPB battle. Well, Tom, you're head number 58 ahead, just ahead of Martin Walker there still.
Yeah, you can tell the class CSPB cars because they've got the yellow background to the numbers, haven't they? So that's how you can tell those cars. Now, what's the relative gap? Champkin?
3 seconds, 3.3 seconds. So, yeah, really come down.
It has. It's come down by 2.4 on that lap. So if Steve Dickens has got anything more in reserve at the wheel of the race-leading number 7 car, he's got to do it now because the steam train is coming, and that steam train is called Alex Champkin.
Yeah, indeed. No, he needs to get his finger out now and get going. Yeah, so Alex is trying really hard here. So
has Steve got anybody with him? Will he be getting the signs off the pit
yes,
wall? Or
yeah,
he will get the signs.
Hopefully, yes. His father's there. Arthur Dickens, who used to race Clubmans cars many years ago. So it's a family-run team there.
I'm going to say we've got lots of second-generation Clubmans races. Have we got 3rd and 4th generations yet?
I'm sure there is. I can't think of it.
I wasn't trying to catch you out. I just wondered if you knew.
No. There's certainly plenty of second generations. Yeah. But I'm sure it won't be long before the
3rd and 4th generation.
So Alex is still really holding Steve Dickens in.
He has. He's gone purple through the first sector. He's a full second quicker just in the first sector of the lap than the race leader Steve Dickens. So the gap is down to something like maybe 2.5 seconds. He's purple in the second sector as well. So having gone quicker through the first 2/3 of the lap than anybody has done, he's another 1.6 seconds quicker through the second sector. So the gap is way less than a second now as they head round through Coram. And this charge from Alex Champkin, bearing in mind he stalled when the lights went out and dropped down through the order, they are going to be heading on to their final lap of the race. He could be on for a possible win.
Yes, it could be neck and neck over the line, I think, here. This will be interesting. So, but Steve doesn't look as though he's got anything really there. He's not really pulled away, so he's going to get in this lap, looking at that.
It looks like it, yeah. It just looks as though Steve is driving as quickly as he can, and he looks like a bit of a sitting duck, really, doesn't he, as Alex Champkin is beginning to close up on him. They've got traffic that they've just dealt with, so they've got a bit more traffic just up the road.
Brendan Hurd in the CSP2 car just... Whoa! Oh. Well, hell, Alex, that was brilliant there. You saw him get onto the grass and the stones on the side, and that was it. The car snapped sideways, but he caught it.
He caught it, and Brendan Hurd was sort of wrong place at the wrong time, wasn't he, really?
Yes,
and I think Steve Dickens decided what he was going to commit to in terms of the overtake of the back mark. Alex Champkin decided the other, and it worked for one, not the other. So, well held by Alex Champkin. The heart rate having spiked slightly, it'll be coming down now, and he can concentrate his efforts on the charge again.
Right, Alex is trying to feint into the inside, but Steve's having none of it. He's not having to cover. And then I think is the yellow flag still out in the next sector.
No, he's got in this time.
He's got
Hazard is out.
Board, yes.
So that will allow Alex Champkin to attack. Now, we know that the Phantom is a slippery car. In a straight line, who's your money on? Because we've got a drag race coming up down the Bentley Straight.
I think it could well be Alex here. Alex looks like he's really determined. I'm not surprised he'll be even more determined after that moment at the first corner. So.
Well, it'd be a great drive from him. Moment at the first corner, but the moment when the lights went out as well, a really good drive from him potentially. They've got maybe a bit more traffic to do. Is that Barry Webb?
You've got Barry Webb, at least Barry's experienced, so he should keep an eye on his mirrors and give them room. But no, he still hasn't done it, has he?
No, he hasn't. Alex Champkin might just come up a little bit short here. Here's Barry Webb. Can they get past Barry Webb before the bomb hole? If Steve Dickens doesn't, that might just compromise his run through the bomb hole. Right. He's got to blend off the throttle. Barry sees them coming, goes right. Steve Dickens under pressure from Alex Champkin as they turn their way through Coram and up towards Murray's for the final time. Might it be a drag race to the line?
Yes, it could well be, yes. No, this is it. I thought Alex would have it, but yes, it could be right on the line.
I think Steve Dickens had just got enough in hand, hasn't he? So Steve Dickens, by the skin of his teeth, is going to make it 3 out of 3 and claim the hat-trick of wins here at Snetterton. Steve Dickens, who hadn't had a win before this weekend, now walks away being unbeaten in the 3 races. Alex Champion, hats off to Alex, caught
drive.
out when the lights went out. Brilliant drive, really good drive. Do you have a Driver of the Day award, Driver of the Weekend award? You'll discuss that as a club.
Yeah,
absolutely.
we have the Colin, Alan and Paul Jackson, the people who've done the photography for the second generation. So since the club started in the 1960s, the father filmed it, the lad's still out there filming it and taking photographs, and they decide who has the Driver of the Weekend.
Photographs done in a very different way today than they were in the early days of Clubmans.
Well, this is it, and they have so much footage even back from the 60s and 70s on cine film and everything like that.
Brilliant club archive,
absolutely brilliant. Very few other clubs have got that type of material.
We ought to just say that we've had the top 5 cars go through. There goes Michelle Haywood, so she's the winner of Class CSP2, the number 84 car. From that car there, Matteo Gauthier and Thornton, who will finish second in the class. And Class CSPB, at the moment we're awaiting the arrival of the winner of Class CSPB over the start-finish line. It should be Tom Muirhead. He had enough of a gap, not by a great deal. There's only 1.5 seconds, wasn't it?
So Tom Bellamy third in CSP2. So battle here's Paul Freeman, then Samantha, and then Tom Muirhead. So Samantha Carlin, Radius, and Tom Muirhead leading CSPB. So they're just about to go around Coram, so this will be interesting.
Yeah, so that'll be for 10th, 11th, 12th overall in the race. But Paul Freeman and Michelle and Samantha Evans are for the same class, CSPB, aren't they?
That's right.
CSP2.
Yes, and then obviously Samantha got the better of Paul in the second race, but looks like Paul got the better. But then more important, we've got Tom
Muirhead, who's going to claim the class win.
And Martin there, who's second in CSPB. So he's pulled some of it back, but still a bit of a gap there.
And those are the final 4 cars to take the checkered flag as well. So they are all through. We lost a few cars along the way. We lost Alan Cook. We lost Ian Crombie into the pit lane with some sort of mechanical woe. And of course, we know of the whereabouts of Cody Tree and his problems. But other than that, I think all the cars are largely going home, other than mechanical defects, in one piece, which is often the case in Clubmans and is always good to see.
Yeah, no, it is very, very good to see. And although we have a nice summer's break now to our next round, which is Alton Park on
13th of August.
13th of August, yeah, so home track for me.
Thanks for joining us, Mike. Always great to see you and deal with the club. We'll confirm the official results for you in just a few moments' time. Thank you very much, Mike.
Pleasure to see you again. Tom.
Thanks a lot, Mike. So let's just confirm the results then for you. It's Steve Dickens that claims the win from Alex Champion in second place. And in third place, it is going to be Jared Lester, ahead of his father, Adrian Lester, who was fourth. Pete Richings was fifth, and Michelle Haywood was in sixth place, but won top honours in Class CSB2. Matteo Gauthier Thornton was 7th, ahead of Tom Bellamy, who was in 8th place, Maurice Hart 9th, and Paul Freeman completes the top 10. In 11th position, it is going to be Samantha Evans. 12th place is the winner of Class CSPB, which is Tom Muirhead, ahead of the car of Martin Walker, who was there in 13th. Barry Webb was 14th, ahead of Brendan Hurd, Roger Watton. Then the number 40 car, which is Mike Upton, and he was the last of the finishers. Retirements for Cody Tree, for Ian Crombie, and for Alan Cook. So that is it for us for the Clubman Sports Prototype Championships. Thanks for joining us. Please keep an eye on all of their social media and their website as well, the Clubmans, and hopefully we'll be back with some more footage from them later in the season. But from Mike Evans, representing the club, myself, Mark Werrell, thanks for joining us for their 3 races this weekend. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.